Even a 100% adoption rate can still be a governance failure. Most resistance to a new AI tool is what it looks like. People who are uncomfortable with a new workflow or worried about relevance, needing more support before they trust something unfamiliar. That is a real pattern and it deserves the standard change management playbook. And nothing in this video argues against doing that work properly. But there is a second pattern that gets diagnosed exactly the same way and isn't the same problem at all. And it's the one most rollouts miss entirely. It shows up specifically when the person quietly not adopting is one of your most experienced ones. Someone who already understands the process better than almost anyone on the team. So it's not the least confident person in the room. Often it's, well, the competent one. And when that's the shape of it, a workshop is treating the wrong diagnosis. What you're usually looking at is someone declining to accept accountability for a decision nobody actually handed them. Or also the other way around, taking away accountability from them. This is a pattern I've watched repeat across teams often enough that I've stopped treating it as a single story. A quality or compliance team, for example, gets an AI tool to help draft an assessment, a report, a first pass judgment call that used to belong entirely to a named reviewer. The leadership rolls it out, usage climbs, dashboard looks fine. And somewhere in the team, there's usually one person who keeps producing the old version alongside the new one, just quietly redoing the work by hand before it goes out under their name. And if you ask that person directly, you will hear the same answer. It's rarely about the comfort with the tool. It's usually some version of, I don't know who's accountable if this is wrong. And nobody told me yet, right? That's not defiance, and it's not heroism either. It's a diagnostic signal the rollout failed to pick up. The tool moved a judgment call away from a named accountable person, and nobody updated who's responsible for the outcome to match. Everyone assumed the dashboard was the whole picture, and well, it wasn't. Here's the part that should actually worry you if you are the one running the rollout. Training does not close this gap, no matter how good the workshop is. You can run the session, get everyone certified, hit 100% completion on the tracker, and this gap stays exactly where it was because it was never a skills problem. Training answers, how do I use this? It has nothing to offer for someone asking who's accountable if this is wrong, because it clearly isn't the software. If usage numbers look strong, and it's specifically your most capable people who are quietly doing the work twice, that combination is one of the clearest signs you're looking at a decision rights gap rather than a training gap. It's not laziness, it's not fear of change, it's a structural gap between where the decision now gets made and where the accountability for it actually sits. And the real villain in this story isn't the person. It's the belief baked into most AI adoption playbooks that usage is the finish line. That belief is what lets rollout get scored as a success, while the one thing that determines whether it survives an audit, a clear owner for every AI-influenced decision, never gets addressed. Think about what a decision without a named owner actually looks like, especially in regulated environment. It isn't a shortcut. It's a batch record that's missing a signature. Can look complete, can move through the whole process without anyone flagging it, right up until someone, usually an auditor or a regulator, worst case a customer, ask the one question the process was never built to answer. Who signed up on this? And what were they actually accountable for? If it was wrong, if there's no name attached, doesn't matter how smooth the workflow looks. The record fails the moment someone actually checks it. That's what an AI-influenced decision without a clear owner is. Not a shortcut. An unsigned record waiting for someone to ask to see the signature. This matters beyond any one team's workflow. Every rollout that skips this step quietly teaches your best people that the adoption metric don't mean what leadership say they mean, because they have watched high usage coexist with nobody able to answer who's accountable when the system gets it wrong. That's expensive in a way that doesn't show up on the dashboard. It's the erosion of whether your team believes decisions like this get thought through before they actually ship. And in regulated industries specifically, this is not a hypothetical exercise. Regulators are increasingly asking exactly this question about AI-influenced decisions. Who's accountable, and can you show it? A rollout that treated decision rights as an afterthought is going to find that question considerably harder to answer under audit than, well, it was to ignore during the pilot. So next time, it's specifically your most experienced person who's slow to adopt a new AI tool, don't reach for a training session first. Ask a sharper question. Whose decision does this tool actually change? And have you actually told them? If you can't answer that in one sentence, then it was never a change management problem to begin with, but rather a governance gap wearing a change management costume. If this is the kind of thing you'd rather think through before an audit forces the question, you can subscribe to this channel. I'll do this every week. There's also a full written version of this on my Substack. I'll try to make sure to post the link below. You can follow me on LinkedIn for related posts, or buy me a coffee on, well, buy me a coffee. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.